Pripyat, Ukraine. At 1:23 a.m. on April the 26th of 1986, a catastrophic meltdown took place inside reactor number 4 at the Soviet nuclear power plant at Chernobyl. The explosion that followed sent flames and radioactive material soaring into the skies over Pripyat, a nearby city built to house the plant's scientists and workers. It took 36 hours before the town's 49,000 residents were evacuated, and many later suffered severe health effects as a result of their brief exposure to the fallout. Soviet authorities later sealed off an 18-mile exclusion zone surrounding Chernobyl, leaving Pripyat an abandoned ghost town. The city has since languished for nearly 3 decades as a chilling reminder of the disaster. Its buildings have decayed and even partially reclaimed by the elements, and wild animals roamed through what were once bustling apartments, sport complexes, and an amusement park. In the town post office, hundreds of letters from 1986 still sit waiting to be mailed. While radiation levels in Pripyat have dropped enough in recent years to allow urban explorers and former residents to make brief visits, scientists estimate that it could take several centuries before the town is once again safe for habitation. Hashima Island, Japan. Today, Hashima Island is a vacant labyrinth of crumbling concrete, seawalls, and deserted buildings. Yet it was once among the most densely populated places on the planet. The small island off the coast of Nagasaki was first settled in 1887 as a coal mining colony. It was later purchased by Mitsubishi, which built some of the world's first multi-story reinforced concrete buildings to house its bursting population. Hashima remained a hive of activity for the next several decades, especially during World War II, when the Japanese forced thousands of Korean laborers and Chinese POWs to toil in its mines. By the 1950s, the 16-acre rock was packed to the gills with more than 5,200 residents. Most workers found the cramped conditions unlivable, and the city was promptly abandoned after the mine closed in 1974. 40 years of neglect have left Hashima a dilapidated ruin of collapsed staircases and condemned apartments. Many of its high rises are still filled with old televisions and other relics from the mid-20th century, and its once teeming swimming pools, barber shop, and school classrooms now sit in shambles. The island was officially opened to tourists in 2009, and it has since served as an inspiration for the villain's hideout in the 2012 James Bond film, Skyfall. Varosha, Cyprus. In the early 1970s, the immaculate beaches of Varosha, Cyprus served as one of the most popular millionaires' playgrounds in the Mediterranean. The suburb boasted a thriving tourism economy, and celebrities such as Elizabeth Taylor and Brigitte Bardot were known to take in the sand and sun at its high-class beachfront hotels. Unfortunately though, all that changed in August of 1974 when Turkey invaded Cyprus and occupied its northern third in response to a Greek nationalist-led coup. Varosha's 15,000 residents fled the city in terror, leaving their valuables and livelihoods behind. Most assumed that they would return once the fighting stopped, but ongoing political strife has seen Varosha waste away behind a heavily guarded barrier ever since. The few intrepid explorers who have ventured into the no man's land describe the resort as a crumbling ghost town. Trees have grown through the floors of restaurants and homes, and most of the former residents' belongings have been looted or destroyed. What is left stands as a spooky time capsule of the 1970s, including bell-bottoms in shop windows and 40-year-old vehicles still parked at car dealerships. In recent years, Greek and Turkish Cypriots have held talks regarding reopening the former jet settlers' haven, but experts estimate that it would take upward of $12 billion to make its decrepit buildings livable again. Bodie. Bodie in California was officially founded in 1876 after miners stumbled upon rich deposits of gold and silver in its hillsides. Gold-crazed prospectors flocked to the settlement at a rate of more than 2 dozens per day in the late 1870s, and its population eventually soared to some 10,000 people. Thanks to a larger-than-life accounts of whiskey-fueled shootouts, the outpost soon earned a reputation as a sea of sin filled with rough men, prostitutes, and opium dens. Like most boomtowns, Bodie eventually went bust. By the 1880s, it had outgrown its meager infrastructure, and a succession of harsh and deadly winters convinced many of its prospectors to move to more profitable locales. The population dwindled until the 1940s when the last residents finally shipped out. Since then, Bodie has become known as one of the nation's most well-preserved ghost towns. Its 200 ramshackle buildings are kept in state of arrested decay by park rangers, and tourists flock to the site to explore its 1880s Methodist church, saloons, and post offices, as well as the ruins of a burned out bank vault. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like. And by the way, happy Halloween, and stay safe. Until tomorrow, goodbye.